Hi there, very good day to you. Thank you very much for joining us today. In your subject, the topic is about the communication of your change plan to stakeholders so that they can support you. So, how can you communicate with them? Right now, in the previous session, we talked about a change in an institution, educational institution, a change. Okay, when you introduce a change, you have to get your people to follow that new process, new procedures. So you have to get everyone to change. We took loads of examples in different ways. We talk about the LMS introduction. That's the common example we usually take for anything. But there are so many other things: locational change, course changes, okay, course material changes, assessment method change. Usually you may use exams, but this time you may have to use assignments. Otherwise you may use assignments all the times, but this time you may have to introduce some exams. Or because of this AI involvement, AI interferences of this genuineness of this assignment, you may use a viva after each assignment. You may want to speak to the students about the work to make sure that work was done by him, because AI, if you use AI can do the work for you, and it may be difficult for a lecturer to detect the AI developed content, so that to make sure that was done by the student or that was not done by AI, you may have to do a viva. This is a change. So you have to do lots of procedures in here. You have to speak to the students. You have to do some documentation. You have to do some recording arrangements and so on. So you have to do some changes here as well. So assessment method change, it is a change. Okay, subject change, it is a change. If you teach certain subjects like AI or IT, software, technology, the content that you teach today is not applicable tomorrow. So you have to keep changing your content, keep changing your material. You have to get the latest updated version of technology to teach. It is the case of other subjects as well. Business, marketing. Yesterday's marketing is not today's marketing. Today's marketing is not going to be tomorrow's. So you have to bring in new technologies, new content to teach students. This is again a change. So if you're teaching marketing, you may face this kind of changes. If you teach technology, you may face this kind of changes. So many examples like this we can consider as change or changes that happens in this education industry. So in your assignment, you have to select one of those and you have to apply that change. You have to change your organization. So to do this, we talked a lot on that in the previous session. And I have something to touch today that's about the communication of stakeholders. When I mean stakeholders are the people you would want to change in order to change your organization. So let's say if you are introducing some LMS, uh, who is using this LMS, who is going to be affected by this introduction of this LMS? Your lecturers definitely, your students definitely, your assignment markers definitely, your technology based staff, your administration staff, they are all part of this change, because lecturers, when they want to teach, when they want to meet students online on the LMS, they need to do different things now. So it is a change for them. Once assignments are marked, the administration staff has to look into the markings so that they can arrange the result for the students. So they also need to learn how to use LMS to collect results and upload the results to the LMS. And students, they need to do some changes as well to learn from LMS, to submit assignments from LMS and so on. So these are the key stakeholders. There are so many other stakeholders if you really study, analyze this LMS introduction. So any change we are talking about, we definitely need to look into the stakeholders. Who are these people? They are part of this change. Okay, we learned about this already. And let me touch this very quickly. We learned this subject, stakeholder analysis, in the previous module for some other requirements, some other the needs. Now I'm going to have a look at it. When you introduce an LMS in a university, who is involved in? Definitely students, definitely faculty and the staff, president of the university, chancellors, deans. Okay. the governing body, they need to definitely go into the LMS and see what is happening inside. Are these students working good? Are these lecturers making good use of this LMS? Is this LMS a successful change, a good change, a positive change? They have to check all of this. So they have to definitely go there. The accrediting agencies as well, they have to enter into your system to see the quality of your teaching. Okay, so they are part of it. Maybe parents are not, they don't have access to the LMS. Okay, so these are the people. You have to identify all of them. Then you have to communicate the message about your change. You have to speak to them. You have to tell them this is what it is happening. So you have to provide them some training, some workshops on that, so that they can do this change. This is why you have to identify people, your stakeholders, before you start the change. Then you have to communicate that. Now, let me give you a summary look of what I'm talking now. Initially, when you have a change in mind, you have to study about the stakeholders. They are connected to this change. That's the first thing you do. So identifying stakeholders that you have. And after that, after you have identified everyone, you have to now plan how to manage everyone, how to manage all of these stakeholders. Okay, so you have to plan. You have to plan first. This is how I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to deal with the lecturers. This is how I'm going to deal with the administration staff. This is how I'm going to speak to my students. This is how I'm going to work with them. Okay, so start the plan. When you start the plan, your plan would work, but you have to manage somehow. You have to do some adjustments on it. So you have to uh, do some management on it. And then finally, you have to control. When I mean control, when you do this management, certain things may go out of control, certain things may be in control of you, so you have to know what's going on. Okay, you may have to do some adjustments on your trainings, you may have to do some adjustments on your resources used to do this change, and so on. So these are all coming under controlling your change. Okay, so that is clearly said in here, right? And one more message I would like to tell you here. When you take a stakeholders, you can make a stakeholder registry like this. Okay, a registry. So you write all the names of your staff, whoever they are, and their position. Okay, who are they? Who are they? Are they staff? Are they lecturers, senior lecturers, junior lecturers, or professors, doctors, deans, faculty deans? Who are they? So you have to write all of them. So it's easy for you to deal with them. Okay, then you communicate. Okay, you may keep the contact details as well, their phone numbers, maybe the email IDs, maybe whenever it is needed, and the project role in the change. What is their role? Okay, everyone will have a role. If any change happens, people will have different roles to play to do this change. For example, the technical staff have a role to enroll, to install the software. That is technical staff's responsibility. After the installment, after you have installed the stuff, you have to enroll everyone to the system. You have to enroll all the students, you have to enroll all the staff, and you have to give them the username and the password. That is a responsibility, or that is a role of the IT department. After you do this, you may call one by one each parties. You may call the lecturers and tell them, show them the interface of the software, tell them this is the software, these are the features of this is how you use it, and you train them. So that is the responsibility. And after that, you may call the administration staff and teach them how to use it. And after that, you may call the students and tell them how to use the LMS. So these are all roles of the IT department when you introduce an LMS. Meantime, if you are a lecturer, your role is different. Your role is to make online materials, to upload them on the LMS. So you make them and upload them. Your responsibility is to book meetings on the LMS to meet the students. Your responsibility is to call the students to go for some discussions on LMS. Your responsibility is to upload the assignments, mark the assignments, upload the results, and so on. So that is your role. So everyone will have different roles. You have to write all of them. We call this the stakeholder registry. Okay, so that will give you an idea about who is involved in, who these people are, and so on. Okay, right. So that is a stakeholder. Then how do you communicate with them? The communication, effective communication. Okay, so there are so many modes of communication. You can use emails, you can use phone calls, you can make them to come to a common meeting. Okay, you can use WhatsApp groups to communicate the message. It depends on what you do. Okay, it depends on what you do. You may have to meet them face to face. You may have to meet them in person. You may have to meet them uh, through platforms, online platforms. So it depends. Okay, so here the face-to-face meeting, that is way of communication. Okay, general blotting, that is again another way of communication. You can send generic emails. Okay, you can place notice board messages. That is again another way of communication. You write the message and you place that printed notice on the notice board. These days we use electronic notice boards in companies, so you can place that message on the electronic notice board so people can see. It depends on what you communicate, and it depends on who you communicate that to. So based on that, if you want to speak to your lecturer, you have a way. If you want to speak to your students, you have a different way. And if you want to speak to the admin staff, you have a different way to all those two before I discussed. So we have to find out the ways of communication to tell them how this change is happening, what to do, what is next, what is done, what is to be done, all those kind of things. Okay, so that is your stakeholder analysis and the communication. How do you communicate? There are so many ways of communication. You can find out face to face. Okay, telephone, video conferencing, personal memoing. Okay, so we can send tailored emails. When I mean tailored emails, you make an email specifically to that person. You do some customization, specifically write that to him. But if it's a generic one, sometimes you may do generic email. So you write one email and you CC that to many people. So it depends on what you do, what change we are talking about, and so on. Okay, right. Now, the next part is about the monitoring implementation of a plan for change. Here's the next thing. So I'm going to have a look at this now. Okay. So what is monitoring? Let's see what monitoring is about. Monitoring is something or some kind of tracking of what's happening. Okay. So let me take a couple of examples here to understand this. You you do some homework with your kid, with your son or with your daughter. You do some homework every day. You spend about an hour with them to help them to do their homework. So they go to school, they study from the school teachers, and they bring homeworks, and you help them to complete their homework. So your homework is the work, is the help that you provide. Now, you have to definitely know if your homework is helpful to your kid. Is it useful? If it is not useful, you don't need to help them to do the homework. Okay, so you need to check whether this homework help that you provide is good enough, is useful enough for them. So you have to monitor. How can you monitor? When you help your kid to do the homework, if you want to check whether this homework help is helpful for them, you check the university or school results, school progression report or progress report to find out the marks. So last semester or last term, you did not do any homework with him. So the result, you know the results. And this time you helped with his homework and you know the result now as well. If you compare the result, if you can see 20 additional marks on top of the previous term's exams, you can decide, yes, my homework is helpful or was helpful, it is working. This is what monitoring is about. You definitely need to do monitoring, because homework, helping your kid to do the homework is costly. You are taking your 1 hour of time sitting with him and helping him. If you don't get any results, what's the point of it? Okay, so you have to. If you allow your kid to do some exercise or answers for his homework using internet, you give him the phone or a computer to search for some answers, and they write the answers from the internet. If you try this, again, you have to monitor. You can monitor based on the result. If the result is getting better, you can say, yes, I gave him the internet and the computer. That is helping him to improve. If you don't see any big improvement, you have to immediately stop giving him the computer to do the homework. Okay? So this is how you track. But that is very important. Okay, I have given a couple of examples in this screen here. One is big companies, they do have tracking systems to track their business processes. Okay, if you go to a casino, they have casino tables, and casino tables are rented or given for people. They come and play casinos, gambling, and they lose money, they win money, whatever they do it. Okay, so that's their problem. Now the problem is, if the casino has 25 tables in the casino floor, they need to track each table's performance, how much these tables are making for them each night. So you have to look into that. You have to track. If you track out of 25 tables, 20 tables are making over $2,000 a night. 5 tables are weak. They are not making enough money for you. So what you do, you can do something about it. You can do something about it. So you're tracking each table. And if you take players like Cristiano Ronaldo, if you take players like Virat Kohli, they they play games. Virat Kohli, he plays cricket. Cristiano Ronaldo, he plays football. Now, these players, they track their performance. They do practice. Every day they kick 100 balls. They defend 100 balls. They play for half an hour or 1 hour daily. And they maintain their fitness. They maintain their quality. If you take Virat Kohli, the same story, he may face in his own nets at home 100 or 300 balls daily using bowling machines, and you face 300 balls every day. This is his practice. And they track out of 300 balls, how many balls did I play well? How many balls I lost my wicket? How many balls I managed to make into the stands to score 6 runs? How many balls I managed to make 4 runs? How many balls I did not face comfortably? They track it. Okay, so if you track this, you can improve your game tomorrow. And if you track tomorrow, you can improve that further. This is tracking, this is monitoring. The reason why they do, it's because the time they spend, okay, the investment they do for this practice, is it worth it? Okay, if it is worth it, they continue that, because they know if they can do practices, they can perform better in matches. When they perform good, they can earn a lot of money. They earn the endorsement deals, they get man of the match, they win the games, they get prizes and so on. So they earn a lot of money. So they track themselves as to what is happening in the investments. The same story that helps you as well when you do changes. Change is an expensive practice, as I told you. Introduction of LMS is very expensive, not cheap, not free. Okay, introduction of new LMS, you have to buy the software. You have to hire a new technical team. You have to buy some cloud hosting. You have to do some trainings. Okay, train the staff, train the students, train the teaching academic faculty. A lot of things involved in. These are all expensive. So if you do this expensive practice, you should definitely monitor what's going on. Is it happening? Is a change happening? These teachers or lecturers, are they adapting this new change? Are they practicing new things? Are they ignoring the previous things? You have to check all of it. This is monitoring. When you introduce this, you need to check whether the students, are they doing it good? Are they comfortable? Are they learning? Are they getting use of this? Or are they still using the physical ways of learning? You have to track it. Okay. So to do this, you may do a lot of different ways. You can do goal-based evaluation, outcome-based evaluation, regular reports, meetings, and there are so many stuffs. Let's discuss some of them. You may use some KPIs, key performance indicators. As I told you, when you do some homework with your son, the if you want to monitor the support that you give, is it worth it or not? You have to check his result. His result is the key performance indicator. His result indicates whether your homework help is helpful for him or not. Okay. If you do practice in your nets to play some cricket, your KPI is to check in the next match how many runs you score. Okay. The runs that you score is the KPI of your practice. If your practice is working, you will score more runs. So based on the runs that you score, we can say whether your practice is working or not. So the score is your KPI. So we can take KPIs here to check whether the change is happening in your organization. So what are those? There are so many. You don't need to develop many if you have three KPIs to see. For example, if you are talking about LMS introduction, a KPI may be how many lessons have taken place in LMS. Okay, that is the KPI. How many assignments are submitted on LMS? That may be a KPI. How many students are happy about this LMS introduction? That is a KPI. So you have to speak to students and find out of 100 students, how many of them are happy about the new system? How many of them they like the new system than the older system? So these are all meetings. You can speak to them using meetings. This is a KPI. Okay. After the introduction of LMS, if you see less dropout of students, that is a KPI. Okay. So there are so many ways that you can track your KPIs. Okay. These are some of it. There are many. Uh, some examples. Like, okay, now retention of staff and students. How many students are with you before the LMS, after the LMS. If you see no change, you can say LMS is working good. How many new students are joining you? How many students are acquired? Student acquisition for the new batch. How many students are there? If you see more students, you can see that people they would love to learn from us online using our LMS. That is why more students are learning, more students are joining. This is the KPI. Okay. And if you use LMS, you can say LMS can fast track your teaching. It will make your teaching speed. You can go on the schedule. You don't need to fall behind the schedule. So how long do you take to teach your subject? Earlier days, you come to the classroom and you do some teaching. Sometimes you take absence. Sometimes you come late and so on. We can't track lecturers. What time do they come to the class? What time do they finish? But if we give LMS, we can track easily the lecturers. What time did they start the class? What time did they finish the class? And the quality of teaching also can be tracked. So we can track the quality of teaching. We can track the time they consume to do the teaching and so on. These are all KPIs that we can use to track if the change is happening. Based on the LMS introduction, we can see students' performance may improve as well because students have access to their learning at any time. And students have access to the quality materials on time online than the physically printed materials. So if the students are performing good, if they are having good results, we can say the LMS is working. So these are all KPIs that we can get use of to check whether the change is happening. That's it from me tonight. Thank you very much. I see you in the next session. Have a good day. Thank you very much.